We are going to do a live show today. I've got this beautiful Marvel DC free comic book, my very first free comic book. I've had comic books in the past, but I've given them to my children. So I showed up today at this place where I do my recordings, and they had a free comic book day. So this is that popped out at me, so we're going to go with this one. This will be the backdrop of our video today. And thank you, divine, holy creators, and all of the beings of the systems of light and the galactic federations and all the beings that I work with. Really incredible energies that we are moving through today. So I thought this would be a really fun expose of allowing our creativity to expand and move into new creative spaces in how and what and why and in what ways are we changing and shifting as creators, dynamic creators of the multiverse, and know that we're being activated in every which way that we choose to play and we choose to become sacred again, and allowing our imaginations to flow into new spaces and have our communication processes, which is doing, we're evolving as divine multidimensional beings of vibrational readiness, of vibrational discernment, of vibrational interpretation. And so in our expansiveness of who we are as souls, of who we are as divine creational souls, we're ourselves to improve, enhance, advance, and expand our dialect for communication. And we will be seeing, as we've talked about many, many times before, there's going to be lots of activations on this show today. My chakras and my fields are just going crazy because I've opened up into a new dimensional realm of energy reading. So I'm going to talk about that. I've got some channeled notes here that the collective wanted me to get out today. And it's all about how we are shifting and understanding, feeling, and sense as interdimensional beings of the expansiveness of source. The expansive source is the 3 E's, how we explore, how we express ourselves, and how we experience ourselves within all creation. And of course, back in my old business days when I was taking my business administration class, one of the very first classes that I took was business communications, and how we are all beings of communication, interpreting our sensing of the physical body, the mental, emotional, spiritual bodies, of how we communicate back and forth within the environments, and who we are as consciousness of itself, who are we as the reflection of source itself, reflecting it back and forth within the micro or the holographic experience. That's what consciousness really is. We are aspects of source, seeing that reflective experience of who we are and how we communicate with that reflective experience of who. Therefore, thus, then it is all a reflection of how we are growing and how we are expanding within who we are as source, in the outer of source, the inner of source. Therefore, thus, then the micro macro of source returning back to source for its more fullest, more unified expression of source. This is why of ascension are always in cyclical manner. It's always in a cycle and a spiral. It's never in it's never in past, present, or future. It's all now. And so the more in a depth that we get with communicating of who we are as vessels of energy, the more that we allow ourselves to expand in playful ways and imaginative ways, how we can expand our creativity of communication. And what that communication process is to each and every one of us is a unique gift. So I'm going to be going into more of this because I'm just tapping into it right now. It's not the thread that I wrote, but the thread that I'm seeing right now is because of all of our DNAs, because of where we're going for New Earth diversity, for New Earth Star, that it will be a creative grid system that is specifically dynamically woven within. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I'm going to go really fast because there's a lot I want to get in, and it's just the energy I'm riding with. The systems of light are assisting with the co-creation of the grids of the New Earth Star, so that the hybrids, like myself, energies that are high, can use those energy threads for the highest dynamic of co-creation and the creativity of who we are as dynamic expressions, as dynamic communicators of source creator. Therefore, thus, then we need a higher grid system. We need a higher vibrational system of showing me harmony. So it's just like a sphere I see of lines, of threads, of grids, and those are infinite threads like a guitar string, and those are harmonies through which carry vibrational stories. And so that's, as a conduit, that's what I read. I read the vibration. And so I'm offering this to you today, all of you, just to take a deep breath and align your chakras, align your spine, so that you can choose with intention. As the angels and the angelics are with us today, I'm walking with a big group of angels right now. Not right now. I'm always walking with the angels, but there is a specific group of angelics that are working with me right now to they're showing me massaging my energy fields, because I'm working with the source creator, more and more source creator, because we're stepping into this New Earth Star co-creation, because I'm a creator God. Therefore, that's then I'm working with the higher dimensional beings to massage. They're just showing me Play-Doh. So they're working with me as Play-Doh. They're above me. Remember, it's always the cascading effect, the trickle-down effect. They're massaging me and my fields and my threads so that I can become a higher, better, vast, wide communicator to, it's not going to make sense, but I'm just going to say it. I am the grid system of New Earth Star. There's other grid systems as well. I'm just giving these two from my as a communicator, as a vibrational healer, teacher, leader, and a co-creator God. I am a grid system unto myself, and therefore they are massaging me into the New Earth Star grid system. Therefore, then I can also do that within the grid system of itself. It's holographic. Everything I'm saying is holographic. And so as I'm communicating to those that are very excited to be a part of New Earth Star, highest vibrational co-creation, the highest vibrational co-creative timeline, highest vibrational expressive timeline, the 3 E's, that is the soul's direction of excitement. It's working along the spine. And so if you come on to any of our videos at any point in time, you set the intention to allow yourself the softening to the Christic codes, to the DNA codes, to who you are as a multi-vibrational, multi-dimensional being of cosmic, universal, Metatronic light, then you will get those downloads, you will get those awakenings, and it will run up and down your spine and shift out any of the blockages that are in the lower chakras, because you can't move into the higher chakras, the highest expansion, or the higher chakras in the higher dimensions, until you've cleared and cleansed and rebalanced the lower chakras. And that is what most of Earth is working on right now, is the balancing of those lower chakras, because it's where most of the wounding has been held within the divine masculine, divine feminine energies that have been quite imbalanced and quite a lot of erasing, not dichotomy. I mean, dichotomy is always good and duality is always good. It has to be there, but it's been an erasing of it. And this is where I thought this comic today was really wonderful, because it's full. Divine feminine energies and coming forth in her power, and got her gifts and skills and talents that she's been using. And so this is really wonderful. So I'm really having fun with this comic book today. So I've been working on research this week of my my books. So I've been doing some character development and throwing around some ideas and reading various novels from other writers and authors. So I'm just letting all of the energies just digest within me. So I'm really having fun with these images here. So always know that there's so much before you that can be creatively inspiring. So just know that. We're meant to be the highest versions of our creativity, and come forward and know that we've taken the journey that we've taken can be placed forward in the highest creativity, whether it is through paint, art, expression of voice, storytelling, the written word, the spoken word. All of those aspects of us are source becoming more source. And in the alignment of the purity, I talk about alignment. What is alignment? I'm going to keep reminding you, because alignment is your connection, and it is a relationship with all that is energy, with all that is source, which is everything. Your connection and alignment with nature, your connection, relationship, and alignment with Gaia. That's always our sacred trinity. Sacred trinity is the heavens, the sacred trinity is your collective, and the sacred trinity is Gaia. That is the sacred trinity, and that is what is held within every human's blueprint. Your soul's blueprint is dynamically coded and designed, just as comic is a design of this particular issue. Each and every one of us has a design, and within the design we have various topics that we're meant to create and explore through the theme of our soul's expression, whether it's an expression on Earth or an expression in Sirius or the expression these. We have various themes that we're meant to explore so that we can become the high vibrational creator that we are. And of course, every planet that you go to, we might just do this as a multidimensional perspective, if you will. This is the one character just of me here on Earth, and I have specific gifts, skills, and talents for this Earth, but there's also other planets that I'm on that are also harmonizing, and the teams have been calling it co-creation culmination. So all of my gifts and skills in the culmination, as I'm arising to an additional spiral of energy, I'm having access to these gifts, I'm having access to these gifts, and I'm becoming more unified whole experience of who I am in this now moment. And so that's what's called the culmination of experience, where you're using all that you are to come forward and with the new gifts and skills, but your DNA has been activating, and as you integrate soul fragments, as you're integrating this soul fragment and this soul fragment and this soul fragment, all of your soul fragments are now culminating into a grander version of you, and you get access to those gifts and skills, whatever dimension and whatever planet they're playing within. And so this is the benefit, and this is the wisdoms that I've always called, and I have called the Ascension Daily Pathwork, where you're actually doing the pathwork of integrating your soul fragments. Whether this was an aspect, whether that was a light aspect, whether that was an angelic aspect, doesn't matter what these aspects played, all versions of you, and they each carry different skills and gifts. One version of you, most of humanity is working on understanding their shadow aspects. And what do their shadow aspects? Their shadow aspects allow them to tap into those versions of themselves that they absolutely do need for their survival through all creation, but it's just in mastery. How do you use them in a balanced state so that you're not overstepping boundaries and you're honoring the right use of free will and non-interference? You're the number 2 law, which we're going to talk about more and more and more, because it's going to be so important as to what, how, and when we're opening up to interdimensional communication, interdimensional beings, interdimensional species, and we're preparing ourselves for first contact. So that's Commander Ashtar is with me today, along with the larger angelic dimensions. Thank you, Holy Spirit. And so we just wanted everybody to take a bit of self-care practice every time you log on to our videos from here on out. And this is also a good idea if you watch other vibrational channels or you do vibrational meditations online. Always tune into your body on how your body is communicating with you. If you're having a lot of ringing in your ears, if your Kundalini along your spine is feeling uncomfortable, do lots of slow stretches and get water and nature a little bit more. Listen to your body and how your body is communicating with you as you're adjusting the cells and the biophysical experience of who you are, the biophysical chemical experience of who you are, and taking in greater water-rich foods, healthier foods, so that your body can adjust its light and the oscillation of higher light. Information is a vibration experience. How we communicate information is a vibrational experience. You'll see very low vibrational experience communicators online, and you'll see very high vibrational communicators online. All of what they've trained themselves to is what we talked about a while ago, capacity and aptitude. If one continually growing and allowing themselves to stretch and grow and expand, they're going to constantly be looking at themselves as to how I can play and communicate in new ways. How can I reach more of my collective? What are things I'm interested in? How can I allow myself to grow and expand within that educational process? And it could be various of ways. Traditionally, we have always thought the school to be part of our processes of learning and experiencing ourselves and the 3 E's. Finding it's more and more different now because we want that creative aspect that can allow us to tap into more soul fragments of who we are in the whole grandness of who we are as source creator. And the higher in dimension you go, the bigger the being gets because you're taking on more of that soul's energy. You're taking on all fragments that become a grander version of you. That's why the angelic realms, they're seen, if they come through in a vision, they will most often be seen as very high vibrational big beings, like 8-foot, 12-foot beings, because they're carrying a higher capacity of energy integration. Now, again, because we're in a 340 5D process in a body, in a physical human body, we won't necessarily be able to have that harmony to be able to see that angel in front of us in a 14-foot form. But those of us that are seers, have ways of veiling certain dimensional purities so that we're kind of removed, if you will, so it's not that much of a light shock, because sometimes if the system is not used to seeing the vibration of that purity of information, because angels are pure information of source, and again, why we have to prepare ourselves for first contact. The beings that are higher vibrational than us, they're a more pure vibration of source creator. Because they're more in self-love with who they are, they've done more integrating of their soul fragments. So they are in more refinement of their information. They're more purified and rarefied in their expression of being source, their exploration of being source, and their experience of being source. Therefore, thus then, they're carrying more of the oscillizing soul fragments. Though they are bigger, their energy comes forward. They are practiced in when they do present themselves before us in person form, if human form or a humanoid form. They will have practiced how to veil their energies as to not to throw us off, if you will, because most people on our planet are not prepared to be in communication and vibrational alignment with higher vibrational beings. And that's why Source Creator has sent some of us forward as ultra humans, as higher species humans, which why, again, I was meant to be on the path that I was as far as the human project that I was in Propagate. It was all a part of the divine's plan to assist those before me to get used to working with higher vibrational beings, how it feels, how come there's so much triggering occurs when you are vibrational beings, dimensional beings, interdimensional beings, because they're activating those parts of you that are still in the shadow. Say this is the shadow aspect. They're activating that part of you to be in fight or flight. And what does that mean for you? And that's when you just sit down and you go through and you do your ascension path. You just start integrating that soul's fragments lessons, because again, every issue of you is showing you, what are my themes, what am I working on, what are the divine feminine masculine energies I'm working on that I can integrate to be a balanced version of me, so that I know I have my shadow if I need to pull on it, aspects of my shadow can I pull on, and how can I use it in a balanced version of me as my divine feminine masculine, and how can I move forward in greater balance of integrating the wholeness of who I am. And so this is why we always see angels as very powerful, because they've integrated all of those versions of shadow. Just because you're an angel doesn't mean you're never angels have access to all shadows, because they're a part of the higher in vibration, higher in dimension you go, higher interdimensional play you go, you're going to have to access the wider scope of darkness. And that's why I had to go on the many detours I had. They called it back to school. They called it back to school. I didn't necessarily call it that. I'm learning to call it that now, though, however, because I'm finding there was so much growth and expansion. This is why sometimes I do take a couple of weeks off, because there's so much integrating of the soul's lessons. And I can come forward in a higher intellect. I can come forward in a higher scholastic experience through my interdimensional play and integration of those soul fragments, and the time that I went back in detour time, if you will, in school time, because those plays, energies of very dark experiences help me round out the soul's experience for the collective that I'm a speaker on behalf of, and the interdimensional energies that want to come through me now, which are of a bigger bandwidth. And we've talked about this before in my other videos. Bandwidths are very long and vast, because everything is a spiral. And every time you're going up in a dimension, that bandwidth becomes a bit more expanded. And that bandwidth can have infinite number of rays of bands in it that I can move about in communicating. So for today, we want you to just explore, who are you as a multi-vibrational, multi-dimensional, interdimensional communicator? Remember, you have all of these different soul aspects and soul fragments that you're going to be integrating every spiral of ascension. Just that's a given, that's ascension. Every cycle of ascension is a now. So who are you now? You will be balancing divine, feminine, masculine energies and stories and themes throughout all of your soul's timelines. And there's going to be new themes on every soul of ascension, every spiral of ascension. You're going to be going through new themes that you're going to explore, express, and create. And then that's going to harmonize you in this new version of now. There's always going to be the shadow aspects that you'll learn from. And then you're going to learn to create that self-love and self-healing for the higher version of you, because those angelic versions of you are always cascading the higher vibrational wisdoms. The 12th, 13th dimensional versions of you that cascade information down to you, so that you know how to heal, that you know how to accept and integrate all aspects of you. There is no exclusion. It's always inclusivity, because they're all you. They're all the micro, macro source returning to source. And this is where we're turning ourselves into, where we're churning and we're becoming. It's a constant churning, coming. You're becoming a more higher version, expanded version of you, into the dialect of you, into the capacity of you, the aptitude of you that knows that all is available to you. When and how and you use such, and just know that. Your teams, when you're moving in purity of intent, I'm doing the best that I can every day. Every day you're getting up and doing the best that you can. It's always known that you're going to fall back into the shadow, because that's just our natural pattern. For 5,000 patterned into a lower vibrational 3D pattern. What your teams want to see is that doing the best you can to become more and more well-rounded as a harmonized, balanced version of equal light and equal dark. Your teams want to, the universe, creation, Mother, Father, God, Source, Creator, your teams and your higher self are going to keep moving you forward if on more often times than not, you're moving into those higher patterned experiences of self-love and self-care. You have to show that to yourself. Again, how important is your soul's evolution? There will always be those times, because again, as we said, ascension is a straight up process. You're always going to move back and forth, because we're more patterned in those shadow experiences. Most people have never had positive, loving role models, especially feminine. That's why the divine feminine energies on our planets have been so very warped, and that's why the divine masculine's collective has been how it has been. Very suppressed and underground in their sexual experiences, or their ideologies of gender, or their ideologies of sexual energies, and their ideologies as a being, and ideologies of power, and ideologies of all these things. The divine masculines have to do a lot of healing in those respects, because they've never come forward in a higher intellect, in a higher capacity, or higher aptitude, or higher intelligence, higher communication, because it's been so very depressed and suppressed. It's been very misogynistic, because the skews and the beliefs of the dogmatic church and state have been very incorrect, very misguided, and very low vibrational. So we want you to understand that the spiral of ascension can allow you to be the most expansive, wider, growing inhale and exhale of Source Creator, understanding that it is always a process of growing and expanding. And as long as your intention every day, as we talk about in all of our YouTube, our posts that we do YouTube daily, are always allowing you to see, on in the collective of the shadow aspects, how can we grow and just realign, and why healing is so vital important. If you're not healing and integrating all the aspects of you, if you're not doing your very best to show Source Creator, show creation, because that creational reflection is coming back to you. So when we say show Source Creator, we're actually showing you the grander aspect of you. This is the grander source aspect of you. You want to show this grander source aspect of you that, yes, no matter how many times I'm falling down, I'm going to get back up, and I will be the higher version of me as best I can. Because they are trained of breaking ourselves out of. And it does take that, what the Arcturians showed me many years ago, and the image that I show you, is the infinity of the higher entrainment process, where you're having to entrain yourself, thought, word, and deed, to become a higher vibrational being that practices to be in harmony of the light and the dark. and just choosing those higher vibrational experiences for yourself. And there will be those that we will be seeing that will be choosing for themselves in their soul's journey. They have chosen, even though we have given the teachings and the offerings, consequences and the predictions of what happens, hello sweetheart, what happens when somebody continues their cycle of all of these soul fragments that they have to integrate. And if they're not healing this soul fragment and they're not healing this soul fragment, they become glitches and they keep going on the same pattern, the same cycle, and they're still behaving in those same glitched icons of their shadow, because they haven't healed them, they haven't integrated them. So they're going to still behave in jealous or envy. They're going to behave in greed and gluttony. So these will still become a part of their negative, wounding shadow behaviors. So we want to be able to integrate them so that they're becoming more whole and balanced in the bigger version of who they are. And the 13th version of them is always showing them, you can choose to balance in these shadow aspects if you want, and you can choose to become this more centered, balanced version of you and carry the light of all that you are. You don't have to keep rotating on the patterns of your negativity shadow. They're there to teach you and to show you they're very valuable and important lessons, and why you can be an expanded version of the inhale and the exhale of Source by understanding that there is always going to be the light and dark. There will always be. This angelic version here, although it might be a 13th dimensional creator, this version here has all aspects of 0 to 13 dimensions of all the shadow. That's why when I talk to the 13th dimensional creators, they can give me any shadow experience and they can say, well, this shadow aspect here, although it's something that you might deem and you might judge as horrible and repellent in a 3D perspective, this version of the shadow taught your entire collective the teachings that will come out from this one person's story and how it will be the reflective holographic experience to those that have chosen, say, dark occult practices, and the dangers of not only the biophysical body and the mental body, but the spiritual body and all those around it, because the all affects the one and the one affects the all. Again, it's your reflection of itself upon its source creator. That's when you become consciously aware. All that I am and all that I do and all that I think, that I pulsate affects the all. Therefore, thus then, who am I? What do I exist within and what's going on within me? Who is this grander aspect of source creator? This grander aspect of source creator has all versions of you in the 3rd dimension, in the 4th dimension, the 5th dimension, the 6th dimension. Every dimension has a bandwidth. It has an expansive bandwidth of what threads and what songs can you play within in this bandwidth. As a vibrational reader, teacher, healer, as conduit, I'm learning how in this bandwidth, I can go from any point within those threads, or the guitar strings, if you will, and I'm working with new energies right now. That's why today I wanted to say, as a preamble, it's kind of late now, the beings that I'm working with today, the beings that are in my field right now, I'm walking with a huge field right now just because I'm moving into a great expansive communication. My mouth can't go fast enough than what the words are going in my vibrational field, so please excuse me. I'm getting used to this oscillating speed that I'm working at. My speed is very fast right now, so I'm having to remember to ground. The beings that I'm working with, again, are the 13th dimensional creators, because as I said at the beginning of my show today, I am a creator God, and I am worth anchoring interdimensional, multi-vibrational, multiversal codes into the new Earth star grid systems. So that's what they're working with me today, because there's going to be many more people coming online. They're showing me the angels are just pulling, they're just throwing like the sphere, like I said earlier, the sphere of threads and touch points on the sphere of the ball of globe, like a globe. They're showing me a globe, and then there's grid points all around the globe. Those grid points, vibrational points on the globe, are the communication points them in. Clear and cleanse my throat chakra. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Because the communication process is enhancing. I'm advancing in my communication because it's coming more source created through my heart chakra. So my heart chakra is helping create the grids on New Earth Star. And this, as I said earlier, I'll expand upon it because I didn't get to finish it. The new Earth Star grid systems will be the highest words we have. Of course, it's more than this because I'm talking about just the words we have in human form. The Christic Metatronic light that I am sensing, that I'm feeling, the hybridized collectives of the multiverse through the Divine Father's plan. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. That's why you're having the clearing of the energy and burping. So just allow yourselves to relax and take in the light. I'm trying to do a million things at once here to get all the energies in before I have to go. So just take a deep breath of Source Creator. Deep breath in, deep breath in, deep in. Clear your chakras just through intention. I clear my chakras through the divine holy light of the Mother and the Father, and Source Creator through all dimensions, all universes, for I understand that I am universes. Continue to breathe and see white light bathe your fields, your aura, cleanse your chakras, Sit with your feet firm on the floor, on the ground, in the sand, on the grass, and feel the energy of Gaia. Connect with the energy of Gaia. Your Earth Star chakra sits just beneath your feet. Your Earth Star chakra shows you the lineages and ancient ancestries, the lands that you have walked, the lands that you have not walked. Energy is there, and you know it is because all is source. And this is the communication process you have within your soul's blueprint and your theme, that every cycle of ascension you will be connecting with your sacred trinity, of the heavens up to the highest realms, the highest version of you, 13th dimensional, plus all the other dimensions and all the other universes and all that is Source Creator, bathing you with white light, crystalline light, rainbow light, bathing all your chakras one by one, down the pillar of light that runs along your spine, crystalline light that feeds your chakras, that feeds your blood and your vessels and your veins and your muscles and your tissues, the cilia, all that makes you up as a being of multi-vibrational, multi-dimensional experience of biophysical, biochemical, spiritual essence. For without the essence and the spirit, there is nothing more than matter, and it will not survive. The matter needs spirit, and the spirit needs the matter. That is the co-creative promise of all creation. And as your capacity and aptitude of all that you are, then you get to play with the matter that you manifest. The higher in spirit you are, the more manifestation of matter you will have and you will have access to. This is just the equal quantum play, dear lighted ones. And why wouldn't it be? Expand in the capacity of who you are, you have more access to play in the matter of who all that is clear of source. There will be more matter for you to play with, as Celeste was showing you earlier, the vision and the idea of Play-Doh. And the 13th dimension source creator, mother, father, and all the beings that work with her, in creating these creator experiences, planets as you call them, your experience of a planet might be quite different as you get to know who you are as a creator God. Because every day that you wake up, your planet becomes a little bit different than you. Because you're understanding who you are, what you exist within, and what exists within you a little bit differently. It's a little bit more extended. It's a little bit more of your consciousness. The greater in consciousness that you are, and you just allow yourself to ride the waves, if you will, and you're surfing along the waves of energy and vibration and harmonics and creativity and joy and sacredness of co-creating and joy, you become a surfer of all his creation. And you're never in one place too long. You like to surf, you like to move, you like to expand. That's why the 3 E's are so very important to your growth and evolution, because you're something different. What does it become, dear lighted ones? I want you to tune in. Your sacred trinity is always within your collective. It's always within the planet, because the planet holds grids and informations. And there's lots going in the grids right now because you're becoming new. We're in a new cycle of ascension. You've just passed a gateway, dear lighted ones. We want to congratulate each and every one of you that have chosen to be on this cycle and on this portal and this doorway of acceptance of who you are as a multi-vibrational being of light. You understand that you are mass and you are matter and you have physical elements of yourself, but there are also grander aspects of yourself that always remain in spirit and of spirit and essence. And they go all the way into the infinite number of dimensions, and they have access to do and be whatever they want to be in those 3 E's, and even more E's and more E's. Why? Well, because your understanding of the 3 E's is only in this very level of consciousness. But what does the 3 E's mean in an 8th or 9th through 12th dimensional consciousness, dear lighted ones? That's why we say, whatever planet you think you're in, whatever body you think you're in, it's changing and shifting every day. This is why you will see, dear lighted ones. And through those beings that come before you as direct channels of Source Creator, and the beings of Source Creator right before you in the channel that sits before you, Celeste, and she will show you in the near future that your body is a planet unto itself. You have access to change the grids of that body, and you can change how the body looks and feels. And you can stay and remain youthfulness for all of your eternity if you so wish. That's what's called the gift of eternal life. And it's used through the access of light and energy and essence. So as we stated earlier, these are just small little bits of morsels of information that you can gnaw away at and chew on and savor. Because the soup of you is becoming bigger and grander, because you are source, becoming more source, are you not, as we said earlier? Having yourself as one within the all of the shadow and the light, you're becoming more within the all of the shadow and the light. And isn't that grand? And you get to choose in every moment, and you will be loved unconditionally, where you choose to behave from. And as you begin to heal and integrate, that there's great things and great reasons of why you chose those doors of darkness, shadow. You had to experience the depths of who you are to come out and walk again, and build again, and create again, and show others how to do so as well. To become the new era of role, create from whatever has been. And be in acceptance and love and integration of this, and never judge that, for there's great stories and lessons of it. but that you have full power and communication of who you are as a vessel of communication, to know that there are infinite bandwidths and threads through which you can create from, and where does that inspire you to go next, dear lighted ones? And why your vessel is the body of itself, the planet of itself, is infinite grids, is infinite lines of communication, infinite lines of light that you can breathe in the inhale, breathe in light, have that light go to all aspects of your grids. Your grid are chakras, your grids are the axional lines, your grids are the breath in and of itself, your grids are, and we say this with great pause, dear lighted ones, this is how important you are to us. Because as we inhale with you, we are you and you are us. And we breathe in the light with intention. And how do you create reality, dear lighted ones? We've offered this to you many times. Direction and focus. What happens if you were to direct and intend your light through every cell within you right now as you breathe in? Take a deep breath in, dear lighted ones. Breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. We're a vessel to move. We want you to show that you are a planet unto yourself. And as you're creating the grids of your new planet, you're going to create a new healing system within yourself, that just within a word you can heal yourself in any way and that you can heal a part of your body, a part of your planet that has never had light before, perhaps the Middle East, that's on a different version of Earth, because the version of Earth that you're on now will not have those versions of war. You're going to breathe lines of your planet and your grids and your axional lines, whether it's a cancer in your body, whether is it a blockage, whether it is an organ that is shutting down, whether it is your brain that has had too much darkness and too much negativity thrown at it its whole life. We're going to change you right now, dear light, because we are you. We see aspects of you that are still in shadow, and we're going to breathe light into you, dear lighted ones, if you so choose, but you have to intend that for yourself. Who are you? Are you changeable by light? Are you fluid by light? Are you flowing by light? Are you flowing in source? Are you allowing in source? Are you accepting as source? Take a deep breath in. Aishiana my light keshiana ma at esiana ma kat esiana na a pe e te ke na e ama a esiana kat ama a. I breathe in the light source of all that is light. So the inhale and the exhale, dear lighted ones. And you can breathe new life into your planet with every inhale through your intention. I intend life to come into my body through breath. Take a deep breath in. Let new life to come into my body in this breath. Breath is the access of all new life. Breath is the access to all new light. Breath is to activate light within thyself. Source creator within thyself of source creator. And I understand the shadow and I understand the light. And the inhale is equal to the exhale. My body requires the inhale, my body requires the exhale. My tissues and my cells, my blood and my mind and my brain, my capacity for new synaptic pathways for higher vibrational thought patterns are within my intention, dear lighted ones. Would you like a thought pattern, dear lighted ones? Yes or no? And those that have chosen yes through the purity of their hearts will feel this. And you will have activations for the rest of your week. And you will feel your synaptic pathways opening up to new higher vibration crystalline experiences. Why? Because we're showing you that it is the grid system. Your new Earth star grid system is going to activate you equally as it equals into the equal measure of the synaptic pathways. The micro-macro holographic mirror of itself, the source within itself. No matter what anything is outside of you, it is still source, is it not? Yes, take a deep breath in. Source within source, source within source, source within source. I am that I am that I am. You see how simple and easy life is, dear lighted ones. There's no separation, you're all one. It's source with source. So why not go to the very grand aspect of source and say, source, I surrender to you. You've always known who I am. You've always known my possibilities and infinite potentials. And you've always had that story of infinite potentiality of who I am. You're always placing those beings before me that inspire me, that allow me to enhance and advance who I am, to become into greater thought patterns and mind sequencing so that I can think higher and vibrant in light and color and sound and harmonics and potentiality and musings and ideas and inspirations. I can be whatever I want. And you always know that there is a spark of inspiration somewhere, somehow. And I will see it, I will sense it, I will muse it, I will hear it, I will dream it, I will inspire it. I will close my eyes. There will be visions. There will be touch points. There will be answers. There will be synchronicities, and there will be so-called coincidences that are not all. They're all pre-planned, if you will, for the higher aspect of you has already known you're going to be on that path you step forward on right now. Why? Because you're source with source. However, the lower vibrational beliefs and the little practices that you move upon and the little maps that you've been taking yourself on is very fine and well. They're maps. They're maps that can get you lost, dear lighted ones, and that's okay. Getting lost gets you found. Path. But you will always be the universal truth of source with source. And there are infinite dimensions. There are infinite threads within every dimension. Who are you as the planet of you? You have tissue and you have skin and you have all the beautiful things upon your body and in your body. But you're still source with source. The baby toe is no less source than the elbow. The shoulder of you is no less source than the ear of you. Is that not true, dear lighted ones? Then why has divine feminine been erased on your planet? Is she not as equal as source as the rest of you? And why have you suppressed your divine feminine energies and ideologies and notions of what you can be as a unit of divine feminine? Why have you done so? What about the children? What about the elders? What about the trees and nature and wildlife? It's equally source. And as you see this holographic knowingness and truth of it, how as a communicator of the planet within you, you can heal something spontaneously right now, right now, right now. Why? Because you're sending light to it and you're accepting it as whole in you. Is your knee, is your thumb, is your heel, is the back side of you, is the front side of you, is the neck of you, is the ear of you, is the nose of you? Is it all you? Is it all source? Is it all still on the world of you, the globe of you, the planet of you, the vessel of you? The holographic version of you? Can you breathe in light, dear lighted ones? Take a deep breath. Feel the entire planet of you, the vessel of you opening up in greater light. 13 dimensions of you are now bathing you in light because you're asking for it. I call in the highest version of source and your body will be bumps. That is the highest version of you saying, I accept you. I acknowledge all that you are as source. I acknowledge all that I am as source. I acknowledge all of my senses as source, the feelings of source, my gifts and my skills and my talents. I accept myself in the new synaptic pathways of source. There's a new thought pattern right now, dear lighted ones. I see it. I see that. I see it. I see it. I see the thread of light piercing through. It's like a pulsar, like a zephyr that's off from a star system and it goes in a new direction. That's the synaptic pathways that are saying, no, you're ready for thought now. What if you can heal a part of your body just through a thought right now, right now, right now? And you can let go of what your and your ideologies were, of your healing systems and the programs you used to go to and the A to Z and the B to D. Why can't you just go to Z? Why not? Who says you can't? Who says? Again, dear lighted ones, we want you to think about the limitations that you've given to yourself. And it's just voice. You can say, no, I don't want that. That's not on my planet. That doesn't exist on my planet. I don't have to go linearly from A to Z. I don't. I choose. Again, conformity is a great choice, dear lighted ones, but you don't have to take it. You can smile in his boring little face and say, no, thank you. It's not on my planet. I wish not to conform to your rules and your ideologies. I want to know the all of source. I want to know every page of source. I want to know that in every bandwidth I can express source, and every bandwidth will offer you new synaptic pathways. What did this version of me want to think? What did this version of me want to think about art and the creation of art? How many steps and how many ways that I can move in and out of art, creating art in different ways of art. For the inhale is the exhale, is it not? The paintbrush is as much the paint, is it not? The note is as much song, is it not? For it's inclusive. As we said, why has divine feminine been left out of all that is source? Why has she been less important? Why has she not been seen? Why do you traffic children? Why do you sell children and set prices on human life? Why do you do that? Because you've chosen to see it as less important and you're making money off of it. You're seeing it as a business, and that is where everyone will come back to that same center point and go back within. You have to go back. Because if you do anything out of anything that you do for the money of it, you'll be set back. Why? Well, it's a soul's lesson. What are the themes you're working within? What are the themes of that story, of that version, that article showing you? What is that comic showing you? What are the titles? What are the subtitles? Well, your creative passion is a divine gift, dear lighted ones, and it's eternal and infinite. Begin there. Begin with your excitement. Begin with your passions. Begin with why you chose to be a part of this very exciting time for humanity. Do you think this was an accident, dear lighted ones? You found your way to this video today. It's no accident at all. No accident on any level. This is a very important time for all creating grids of the highest creativity right now. And the highest versions of you are massaging the potentialities of how you can communicate and express and be new with light of Metatronic light. Metatronic light is changing our multiverse right now. And we get so excited because you don't even have words upon your planet to express what one version of a Metatronic code is. Let's say within the multiverse of a tangent of a galaxy that you have never heard of. And yet that light exists there, but you think it is not within you right now, upon your planet, within your grid system, within your body, within your vessel, but it is. Why? Because we wouldn't have been able to bring it forward if it wasn't. Do you see what we're saying, dear lighted ones? As is, all is. We've just brought that attention. You didn't know it before we said it, but now we're saying it. So now you do, now you are. Does that make sense, dear lighted ones? If you are healed, now you are. You don't have to go from A to Z. You're not linear anymore. You can go to Z. You are a creator, yes or no? Take a breath. I'm a divine magnetic creator of the divine holy source creator, and I know that whatever I'm magnetized to, I'm meant to be magnetized to it. Whether it's trees, whether it's a color, whether it's a song, whether it's a tone, whether it's a creator, whether it's an inspirator, whether it's a teacher, whether it's a guide, I am magnetized for a reason. Let's go there. Let's go within. Let's seek out that. What is my capacity and aptitude for that magnetism? I don't know, I'm just very excited. It just gets me all goosebumpy. It gets me all excited inside. It gets me the dialect. It makes me want to think about new words. It makes me want to think about new plays. It makes me want to think about new writing. It makes me want to think about new things. Those are creating new synaptic pathways, dear lighted ones. Why, dear lighted ones? Why, dear lighted ones? Why, dear lighted ones? I get so excited because it's never been done before. We've never talked about this before. It's the first time ever. You're a part of this very divine initiation, and there's beings all over the cosmos that are celebrating you right now. Because we're massaging new grid systems, dear lighted ones. Why do we say what we say when we say it? Aren't you excited? Of course you are, because we can feel it. We can feel the light going through your synaptic pathways. We're going feeling the light going up and down your spine, sparking those areas of your root chakra that have never been touched before, never been touched before, never been touched before. But it's got to be now. It's got to be now. Got to be now. Why? Because we're creating a new earth, dear lighted ones, and it needs your light. Excited, dear lighted ones. You've never thought about what you've thought about until you thought about right now. You're bigger, you're wider, you're more expansive. What's that going to do to your art? What's that going to do to your speech? You. What's it going to do to your health, dear lighted ones? Oh, we've just seen something so delightful. Celeste gets so excited when she's a seer. She sees these little dots and these little mechanisms of orbs and crystalline energies. And when there's something new, it just lights up like a spark, like spark, like spark. That's source creator getting to you. That's the dynamic source creator. That's light. That's crystic light, dear lighted ones. That's crystic light. That's how it works. That's light. It doesn't matter what the pathway is. It doesn't matter how many are away, because light will get through it. Light will pierce its way through it, and something will be activated that wasn't a moment ago. Before you thought yourself was a planet, now you're a planet. Now something's working inside of you. Does that make sense, dear lighted ones? Say yes or no. Dimensional, multi-vibrational, multi-essence body of the all that is source creator. Do you feel different now than when you did when you first came on the line? Yes or no? Speak out loud. Your cells need to hear you. Are you a different version of you now than you were a moment before? Do you know that you're a part of the all? Yes or no? Speak out loud so your cells can hear you. Are you part of the light system of Metatronic light, and the song of Metatronic light, and the word of Metatronic light, and the humming of Metatronic light, and the creativity of Metatronic light, of Source Creator, the Mother, Father, God, and the plan of the Father? Does the Mother nourish you? Will the Mother feed you? Will the Mother show you how great you are? Will the Mother show you that you can get up again and again and again and create new? Creation is all beckoning call, dear lighted ones. Are you listening? Are you heeding? Are you creating a new vessel for yourself just out of light? Because you can, with intention, direction, and focus. We always taught you that every video. Why do we teach you that? Because it's so in your world who you are. You're a dynamic being of light. You're always going to have aspects and fragments come to face you. And they will be in your reflection. Why? Because that's creation showing you. There's infinite aspects of you. Let's get to know each other. Who are you? Where'd you come? What do you like to do? What do you like to create? What are your thought patterns? Can we go expansive? Can we get bigger? Can we get wider? Can you wonder? Can you muse? Can you ponder? Can you sing? Can you sum? Can you hum? Can you create? Can you give yourself a reason for child again, dear lighted ones? Or are you still bored in the conformity that was? And that's okay too. But you can accept it and you can move on to something new. To say that one very important part about massaging, the 13th dimensional version of Joanna Celeste was massaging into the grid systems of this new Earth star. Because the grids are being made new, because they are all parts of the creator gods. Gods go from one parts of the darkest parts of space through source creator, mother, father, God. And they will be put in these dark places and they will be that only spark that is there. And they're not the easiest paths by any means. Has told you about the infinite number of challenges that she has been beaten down by. And they refuse to let her go because they will not let her go until she is beat. Why? Because they have not healed their shadow and they only care about what they come off as a winner. And the only way they can come off as a winner is if they beat others down. And so some of them are not going to be happy until she's beat down because they want to come out the winner. Because they haven't yet figured out that she is them and they are one another. Winner, if that's your mentality. New Earth Star is of one and allness, inclusivity. There's no need to take from another without it being given. And do unto others is always a golden rule. The will and non-interference, stay out of other people's lanes and let them heal and let them explore. Let them create and let them express. And you will be supported by the universe in equal measure because you are God and God is you. You are the planet and the planet is you. Are creation and creation is you. Equal measure, the golden rule. As you put it out, it will return. These are quantum laws, dear lighted ones. The quantum laws will not bend to the smaller 3D rules and belief systems of secret cults and covens. It simply won't, and you all know that by now. Source Creator, creation has shown you that very clearly these last few weeks. And Celeste's words are merely the predictions of the Source Creator. Carries the Source Creator in greater capacity and aptitude. Why? Because she practices her devotion. 24 hours a day, it's her devotion. She is constantly with Source Creator. That's her interfacing. That's her light, that's her joy, that's her sacredness. Nothing can be taken away from that. I have tried though. But that's her joy, that's her song. That's what she returns to, that's who she is. And they cannot take her isness. Her isness is the isness. You cannot erase isness, dear lighted ones. There will always be isness. And there has been agendas on the planet, and you will find out about it There has been agendas on the planet to take out the isness, to separate the isness, to take the spirit away from the human. And we tell you this right now, dear lighted ones, and we ask you, of what wisdom will this be? Because if you try and do what has been done, there will only be demise and extinction. Because no matter can survive without spirit. Period. Spirit is the quickener. Period. There is no evolution without spirit. Period. A planet will not survive with it. Period. Are you getting it, delighted ones? These are quantum laws. Like it or not, that's how it is. So if you choose to exist yourself within hate, what will that get you? Then what? Then what? Then what? Then what? If your body is existing in hate and jealousy and greed and all of the 7 energies that you're here to learn and transcend and create self-acceptance and love within, and do your healing. Face your shadows. Because if you that body be, what will that vessel be? What will that organ be? What will that brain be? What will those thought patterns be? What will the vocabulary of that body be? What will the delight and the creativity of that body be? What will your output be? Because it's all one, dear lighted ones. These are quantum, and we're telling you the quantum laws don't care about the little beliefs that you have in your sulks and your cults and your sect, because they're not highly guided, they're not high order. They're a low vibrational experience, and everybody is showing you that right now. Why? Because they're all diseased. They're scurrying around like little rats, trying to find out who's going to give them the next way out. How are they going to get out of karma? How are they going to get out of this? How are they going to get out? No, you're going to face it. Why? Because that's what you chose. You chose your dark path, so now you got to face your dark path. And you got to figure that dark path. Because there's energies within you that want to be seen and you're refusing to see it. It doesn't matter how many people you try and take out. It doesn't matter how many people you try and sacrifice. That will still face you. And if you self-hate path, that's where you're going to be. That's a quantum law showing you your truth, and God will love you unconditionally no matter what. Because God loves you so much so that God will give you that self-hate path. But there is a higher order law. You will not touch another being, because you choose to stay in that self-hate. And Celeste has come forward and told each and every one, I We don't care how high your rank and you think you might be on earth. Doesn't matter your title, your badge, or the bars on your chest. It don't matter. Because you don't get to enforce abuse, you don't get to withhold information, you don't get to withhold birthright, you don't get to withhold somebody's destiny to be who they are in their highest degree. Because make no mistake about this, dear lighted ones. The one that sits before you every day for the past 17 years, and the one that sat before those for 17 years before that, and 17 years before that, and every eternity from 985 timelines. This being is a master, and this being has been here since the very beginning of this planet. And this being is here to prepare grids for generations that you have no idea about. And this being before you named Celeste. She is a master, and she will anchor her light. And it will be seen across all universes. And this is why we're in the mother and the legions of deep. She will not be touched. And she has told you nothing but truth. And yet you refuse. Some of you just refuse. Some of you look at what's going on inside of you. She's given you 100% truth, nothing but. And she's the one that sat homeless and hungry. And not one person gave to her, except to the few clients that she talks about all the time that remain in rainbow light. For they will fall in the garden of God. Because they did what nobody else did, and they did it without a thought. They did it with hesitation, and they give it today. Because they know who she is vibrationally. When they walk upon the planet, they remember the sparks of inspiration and information that she gave them on every other channel before this, and before this, and before this, and before this, since the very first channel, since the very first recording, since the very first radio. Because she is a prophet. She has walked here since the beginning of time, and she's going to keep walking. And she's going to keep walking in the light, and she's going to keep walking when she's an angel. She's going to keep walking. And she's going to keep creating worlds with source creators. She's going to keep creating worlds with the 13th dimension. However many dimensions there are, she'll keep walking. She's on all universes, dear lighted ones, and she comes back in one voice, every body. Male body, whether it's a male voice, whether it's a female voice or a female body. It doesn't matter how she's going to come back. She's going to come back as a tree or nature. She's going to come back singing no matter what through the oceans. It doesn't matter how source will make her come back, because she's got essence in all that is life. Why is source? I am that I am, and when my voice is, so it is. And that's why I'm linked. And I say that with great light. Why? Because I offer promise to each and every one of you. You want to heal your body, you can do it now, 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 now. That's ranking, dear lighted ones, because you get that you are source, and because you can create life. I create life, I create life, I create life. You never take from another without it being given to you first. And you offer your hand always, because it's always you on the other side of that. You always offer how you can help. Why? Because it's always you on the other side of that. And everybody was given infinite chances and opportunities to do the right thing. And what was doing right, dear lighted ones? How hard is it to do right and bring truth? If you have to make about the wrongs that are being done, about people being abused, you go to your authorities. 100% truth, not false claims, not false accusations on somebody that is an innocent divine healer. That was sent here from the multiverse because of her capacity and aptitude to understand energy, and nobody on this planet can. There is not one being on this planet that understands energy, that can see and thread it and be it as source creator as she is in that interfacing of it. Do you not think God has a higher version for her and a higher knowing for her that she can teach those that want to be higher version learning, higher version light? Do you not think that there's a higher version, a higher knowing, a higher order? And yet she's been silenced, not anybody's heard or seen her. She hasn't made one penny out of anything. Why? Because everything's been suppressed. They're paying these billion-dollar companies to suppress her and silence her, and they're paying little minion secret cults to knock her out and take her out. What does that say about you, dear lighted ones? What does that mean? That's the extinction plan. Is that what you want for yourself? Does that sound wise? And then what? And then what? And then what? And then what? So you have trafficking rings and you're moving yourself into extinction. Okay, well, you got a lot of money off of selling people's souls and selling people's energies and selling people's energies of making your destiny swaps. Doesn't mean you can carry the destiny. You can't. That's why it's never going to stay with you. You might get a gift or a skill for a week or two, just so that source can play with you a little. Why are you taking other people's gifts? Why are you not happy in who you are? You'll never have the destiny of somebody you cannot carry the consciousness of, period. You just won't. You can't carry the destiny. You haven't done the work. You haven't done the work to the capacity. You haven't done the work to the aptitude. You don't know what the word means. Then you cannot carry somebody's destiny. You have not been here 985 timelines. You have not done the work. You don't grow it 24 hours a day like one does. You don't speak with source 24 hours a day like one does. You don't care about the light going into your synapses like one does. You don't care about the light because one does. Do you think about the light going into the oceans? Do you think about the light going into the cetaceans? Do you think about the light going into the roots of the trees? Do you think about the little wormies getting back into the grass? One does. I am, and I'm ranked. And it feeds my blood and it feeds my soul because that's who I am, because I choose. My word is, and my word is life. Where I walk, there is life. I choose that. I've earned it. And Source Creator will take me anywhere. Why? Because they need grids right now. Light right now. Why? Because the creativity is going to knock your socks off, dear ones. We are the highest vibrational creative beings in this universe, and we're going to knock the socks off this universe, and we're going to get brighter, and we're going to get brighter, we're going to get brighter. And we're going to create what's never been created before. New systems of healing, new systems of becoming, new systems of churning. Why? Because we've been every part of darkness, and we're saying, wow, we've had a great ride, but now let's see what we can do. We get the darkness, we're going to integrate it, and we're going to say, we're going to do this differently. We're going to create new systems where everybody is served. Not just the elites that want to harvest. Because the elites have figured out how to harvest. Oh, they've done great things about harvesting, haven't they? They want you to feel all proud about who they are because they got lots of money and they got lots of homes and they got fancy homes and everything is sold. What does that say about you as a soul? What are you harvesting? Are you harvesting organs? Are you harvesting children today? Are you harvesting little children's sex? What are you harvesting? Are you harvesting little suffering videos and snuff videos and sex videos about children? What are you harvesting? What does that say about you? And that's your legacy. What's your compass? Then what? Then what? You must be so proud. Then what? Is this how you want humanity to be known, delighted ones? Today, you're harvesting off somebody else's energy. You're harvesting off somebody else's wisdoms. You're harvesting off somebody else's idea. You're harvesting off somebody else's energy. Harvesting off somebody else's quantumness because they've earned it over 900,000 timelines. And you get a good hop off them. You don't got to take a drug, but you got to get a hop off them. So then you're gonna go and use it. Okay, so then you're gonna use it. Then what? Are you giving back? Are you doing good? Are you growing gardens? Are you making seeds? Are you becoming a better person? Are you becoming healed? Are you becoming integrated? We put these things out because we want you to feel inspired, because you can heal your body. So go heal your body. Make it a choice today. My planet, there is no illness. There is no disease. This is my planet. New Earth Star, there is no disease. Say it now. Say it now. New Earth Star, there is no disease. New Earth Star, there is no starvation. New Earth Star has clean water. Do you care about the people next to you? Or is it about what your goal is? What is your next goal? It's okay to have these goals, and it's okay to have short-term all these things. But we want you to grow into your unity consciousness, dear lighted ones. There's nothing wrong with having the nice, shiny stuff. But you don't have to harvest it. You don't have to take it from anybody. You don't have to rape it from anybody. You don't have to bid, bet, or sell it from anyone to anyone. Stay out of people's lanes. Stay out of people's energies. Because profound aspect of source, you don't need to touch another soul. You never did, you never will. And you will never be ranked if you do. Being before you has never touched another soul to take it or rape it or skew it from any way. This being before you has done nothing but be in her own light. And there has been cities harvest off of her. And there has been the black underground that is harvested off her until there was nothing left but a shell of an empty being. Because they will keep sucking and taking until there ain't nothing to suck. And boy, they made lots of money off her, didn't they? The divine has seen every single deed that has ever been done, and every penny that's made, and every bet and bid that's been traded back and forth on her name. And why each and every one of you will remain in karma, and you will remain blocked. Your bodies will be blocked of health, your bodies will be blocked of light, until there is balance made. And every penny is returned. As this being before you puts every ounce of light back into the collective. Why? Because the soul creator, mother, father will call her from any darkness and any light from anywhere in creation, and they will place her wherever, and she will bring life. That is who she is. And many have used her and abused her. And the stories are so sick. We are the light of beings of all the galaxy. Do you think it's an accident why you're sitting here in this one conference call today, dear lighted ones? You are in a league all of your own. And what synchronicities that this free day of comics on today, and these superheroes, and these ones that have beautiful cloaks and beautiful imagery of beautiful fashion on their bodies, and how they have attained the ranking of who they are through their shadows and their lights, and they choose to be a new version of who they are. And they can create worlds and realms never seen before. New sounds, new songs, new inspirations of codes and light language and music and light language and the beautiful artwork and the light language on the grids and the light language as you walk and the light language in your heartbeat and the light pulsing of your heart and the light language of all that you are as a being of Metatronic light. Do you think it's any accident, dear lighted ones, why you're here right now? You are a league of superheroes, dear lighted ones. You're the creators. And there'll be legions and legacies and stories made of your creations, for you have made it through the gates. You have made it through the gates of darkness. You that you can't and you weren't and you never were going to be. And they laughed at you every time you fell down. And they pressed their foot upon your necks. And every time you cried yourself to sleep and thought nobody was listening, there is a soul partner that listens and hears you. And all they see is your soul. They don't see the shiny stuff you might surround yourself with, or the beautiful things that adorn you, and you're worthy of having those, so adorn yourself with them. But they see the soul into you, and they see the vastness of love that you are. And all they want to do is share the love of who you are. And they get excited when they hear your name and your vibration, because that's all they care about is your soul's vibration. They care about the song that you are. They care about what you've done with the song that you are. They care about how you evolve every day. They care about pick up that pen. There's going to be something magnificent come from that pen. Why? Because you chose to evolve. And those are the ones you ask within your circle, because you never want them to lie for you. You want them to hold and say, if there is anything unjust coming from my mouth, please correct me. I want to be held in a straighter version of me. And when I stand next to you, I want to be straighter for you, for me. Because that's what it's due. I will want you to stand in the thickness of who you are and say, no, I've worked my way through that. I've worked my way through the shadow and the dark, and I will never come forward with lies and pretensions. I want to be straight and narrow. I want to know that in the shadows and in the parodies of the darkness, I can come forward and I can create great mysteries and great prose and great poetry and great song and great lyrics. But I will never within myself lie to who I am of who I am, because Source Creator sees me in the all. From a speck I was a seed, and now I am. From a speck I was the wormy and assisted myself back to the soils. From a droplet of water, there is the oceans. And from one breath, there is the inhale. Through all the chakras, there is the exhale. For I am one with the all. And in this, dear lighted ones, each and every one of you with your human collective, they show you the way to be grander versions of you in your acceptance of you as them, and them you. And allow God to work out the karma, and let him go. There will be many shifts of the interdimensional stories of who you are becoming, because you want to create in higher vibrational communicatory ways. Because as you advance in the expansiveness of light, because light expands, the crystals expand, light, you're going to want to create in different ways and communicate in different ways and expand in different ways. Just like the versions in the many mansions, you're going to be wanting to shift into new experiences of co-creativeness, how you're going to communicate with your body, sight communicating with your body, visualize with intention, direction, and focus, light going into the tissues, light going into the cells, light going into the knee. The knee is just as important as the shoulder, as the elbow, as the thumb, as the finger, as the nose, is it not? You are a planet of delighted ones. Speak to your vessel as a planet of light, for it is, and you are creating new planets of light. And your teams in the 13th dimension are massaging and molding you to remind yourselves and why the channel comes on before you in the great intellect that she has, and light language and sounds and tones and offering of Source Creator in the ways that she can. She's so excited to speak of Source because it reminds you and activates you that you are too. And your skin gets goosebumpy. Of you is alive because you're reminded it's okay to be all that you are. And as you channel the grandness of you, your sound will change, your dialect will change, your communication will change. You're remembering that light is light, and that light to where it needs light. The grids of you are active right now. The Octarians and the Felines and the Lyrans and the Syrians and the Pleiadians and all these beings that are coming through as vibrations of light and sparks of light and the songs of light and light. They're all coming to massage you, to become new versions of you.
You want to create in sounds and ways and coloring and magnetisms. And you'll be magnetized to those that will have different ways of inspiring you and reminding you of who you are. Groups of beings that are delicious new soup and a new spice within the all that is. This is part of my channel material, becoming interdimensional communicators. Source has given each and every one of you as the coding within your DNA. Again, we're going to have a difference on the DNA itself, because I've been seeing so many beautiful visions and versions and visions of DNA and how magnificent it is. We don't even have words for what I've been seeing. Of how the DNA is the direct makeup, a beautiful art piece of you. And the DNA allows you those accesses of, again, we call junk DNA. There's no such thing as junk DNA. It's just the turned off versions of you. They're always available as source. But until you press light upon it, until you send light to it, until you're ready for it, capacity and aptitude, why the cycle of it is always asking you that you do and move and grow and travel and allow yourself to be activated by the various aspects of what your magnetism is showing you. Magnetism is just that vibrational quantum energy that drives you to, say, it's a nature space, whether it's a person, whether it's a spiritual guide, whether it's a spiritual practice, whatever that magnetism is, it's guiding you because that's a quantum energy vibration there that is going to activate you. So just as I was sitting down doing my channel, I didn't intend to do a channel. I didn't intend to do, but because there's a new group of beings with me, the 13th dimensional creator beings with me, I would have had that activation and showed you the first part of the video about the new earth grids being activated and massaged into new, if you will, if I didn't sit down and do my channel. If I didn't do my channel, right? If I didn't do my 4 pages of notes. I didn't intend to do that today, but they said, we've got a channel, we've got some information coming for you. We want you to expand your communicatory process with these new beings that I'm working with. And one of them is the 13th dimensional, because I am a part of the creator gods. They had told me previously in many years, a long time ago, that I was part of the creator gods. And I said, okay, that's fine. I'll move into it when I'm ready. But now that we're entering the gates, we've just gone through a gateway. So we've entered into the gates. Those of you that are on the channel today, that part of your soul's destiny is to explore 5D New Earth Star, the creative soul blueprint of who you are. It's always your free will. But part of you has been inspired enough that there is that new earth star energy, those new earth energies of Metatronic light that are inspiring you to become more of who you are as a creative genius, as a creator God. And so these are interdimensional codes that I'm giving throughout this video today. So again, I would suggest going back and listening to this video again. I always suggest going back and listening to the videos 2 or 3 times to make notes on the things that are standing out to you vibrationally when your body gets goosebumps. And that's how you begin your communicatory process. And you're beginning to work more innately and more intimately with your guides. So you can have your guide start to say, I want my guides and I want my higher self, to my spirit, my soul, source creator, to show me the parts of the video I'm meant to pay attention to by giving me goosebumps, by getting me excited within the belly of who you are, your solar plexus. And just giving yourself little guides like that and start doing your journaling. That's what I call the daily path work. The daily path work is all about your alignment. And what is alignment? It's your connection and your relationship with spirit. But you have to start giving yourselves these practices so that your teams, is what the important message for today was, we are becoming threaded with more bandwidths, groups of interdimensional energies and beings and consciousnesses. And so in that, it's requiring that what we were before as light workers, healers, teachers, whatever we were, to let that go and really soften into these new ways of being and becoming, which will then increase our communicatory process because we're becoming faster in light, we're becoming faster oscillating in light. And there's many of you on the line right now, they're showing me, that are going to be stepping in a version of channeling. And just like we're showing this, they're showing me, this is for those of you that are on the line younger. And this is where, I think it's called manga. My kids love manga. Comics and books. That's why they've had such a beautiful growth, and because it's a form of channeling. And the kids get that form of channeling. And so there's a big clearing going on right now from the solar plexus and the sacral. So just do some releases. There's people online that need that release. So just allow the light to go into the sacral. Allow the light to go into the root chakra. Allow the light to go into the solar plexus. There's many of you online now that will be doing channeling with regards to various versions of channeling, like artwork, comics, and manga. I think it's called manga, so please correct me if I'm wrong. Sorry, the younger generation. Because there is that the manga comics and the manga books are a very dynamic portal for children to maintain their connection with source. And that's why they've had a great popularity. It's a version of channeling. So we wanted to bring that forward. So take me back to the thread source. What were you talking about before? Communication with interdimensional species. That interdimensional species that we're communicating with is a version of Metatronic light for the new Earth star that will be going again into the grids that will help us with activations of creativity. How we're communicating with each other. So as we talked about earlier in the video with regards to new Earth systems of healing systems, communicatory systems, systems of, we call it in our old dialogues, we called it socioeconomic, socio-business, will be fields of exchange. Because that's really what energy is. It's just a field of exchange. It will no longer be abused. It will no longer be harvested. And this is where we're going to have respect for our bodies and our planets now. Children will not be trafficked. Bodies will not be trafficked. We will have respect for our planet. We will have respect for our souls. We will have respect for all that is light and love and source creator. And we're going to start learning in ourselves. We're meant to have these beautiful, rich, abundant lives. So have the beautiful things. Adorn yourself with beautiful, jewelry and clothes and those beautiful things that make us feel beautiful. And also have the balance. So yes, have those beautiful things, but there should be an and after those statements. So that's where those that have been elite and have been very lucky being elite grow who you are. We want you to grow. We want you to grow into your unique consciousness because there's a lot of sharing that can be done. There's a lot of caring that can be done, and those caring and sharing and showing themselves that they can evolve out of that self-pretentiousness, if you will. That's wonderful. You're showing creation in the world that you want to continue that flow of abundance. Because the flow of abundance will close not having an and after your statements. Because it's not just you, it is and creation. You are abundant because of creation. And you can share it in an infinite number of ways. And so that is just the quantum equal. There is always going to be a quantum equation to that, and it's always free will, right? So we're just showing you. Okay, so the new groups of beings, like a delicious new soup and a new species of spice, that source creator is, you're just tasting more of source. So I've been feeling a lot of energies this week, and this is why I did my video today. I wasn't intending to do a video, but I had a new set of beings come in. I'm going to talk about them in a second. The new set of beings that came in yesterday, and the source creator, the 13th dimensional creator gods, right here. Well, I mean, this is just an example. It just turned out to be a nice example because today was Free Comic Book Day. And as I started talking in the beginning of the video, I started going over the soul fragments, and it just allowed us to see the different dimensional versions and how it looks sometimes to a visionary like myself. So I'm giving you these visual experiences. But these beings that came in today were the angelic realm, the systems of light, and the three new opportunities to play within our sacredness of the sacred Trinity. The sacred Trinity, again, being the heaven, the many mansions of all the infinite realms you have access to, your Gaia and your collective, because Gaia is our highest activator of who we are as divine beings. Because remember, Gaia is the exact equal measure. Quantumly, we're saying this quantumly, and this is a truth. Gaia is our quantum equal measure to our bodies in the expansiveness of who we can become as a vessel of infinite potential, because she is an infinite vessel of consciousness. Gaia is an infinite vessel of consciousness. We are creating new quantum light Metatronic grids for 5D and up. And that's profound. So again, if you want to go back and listen to this video, you can have a video just where you want to write notes down about the health of your body and seeing and creating new perspectives, thought, word, and deed, direction, intention, and focus of how your body is becoming new Metatronic light and how you can start practicing. And then you can go back and listen to it again. How can I create new entrainment with my communication and my art and my creativity skills, my output? Right? Because if you're getting an input of light, there must be an equal output, just as today was my lesson. I wasn't intending of doing any expression today. I was just going to do some writing, and my writing is an expression, but not outwardly to the collective. But Spirit said, yes, your collective needs it. Your collective needs an output today, get the output. So I said, okay, I'm going to do the output. So I wrote, and I always heed Spirit, because whatever the collective needs, that's me as my contract with God, with creation. I'm a creator God, so that's my output. And I will always be given that in nourishment in return. I always know that there's going to be that return, Mother, Father, God. So I always follow that. That's just my contract. So, okay, I really wanted to say that we're going to become more and more correlated to our planets, the planet we're creating, the new Earth star, and our bodies. So the more you can think daily in your breath, inhale, out, exhale,
light in, light out, light in, light out, you're more and more co-creatively connected with the planet New Earth Star and the highest creative timelines. And again, it's always up to you, your right use of free will. But they also said too, we are going to see those that just cannot, and we want to as a neutral negotiational perspective. Neutral negotiational perspective. There is no right or wrong, there is no bad. So put that down on your piece of paper, neutral negotiational. Release judgment. And that goes for me as well, because there's been 54 years of nothing but deceit and manipulation about my birth and who I am and all of those things that nobody had a right to do, along with taking my monies and, keeping me in poverty and no home and isolated, systematic abuse. So those are all coming to an end. It's all being written off, because that's not on my earth anymore. So what do we say? Go back to that thread again. Neutral negotiational. There will be those that you will see, as we're seeing, that are not able to hold the median oscillation of the new earth energy vibration. They may appear as if they're taking a death cycle, but they're taking themselves into another expression of dimension, of source, their vessels, their bodies, and it will just be a dimension that you won't have access to because you're in a different version of light expression. So your two versions of light expressions cannot coexist because they're just too different in vibration. Everything is vibrational. And there's many of the other channelers. Anka, Lee Carroll, they both talk about that. You will only experience those that are in a similar expression of vibrational coherence. If there's too much dissonance in your expressions and in your perspectives, you will just not see each other. And it may look as if they've gone through a death cycle, but they're not. They're just in another version of they need to explore more of their dark experiences they've chosen, and they will still be loved unconditionally by Source Creator. They will just not be given the choice of anything other than that dark, because that's what they chose. So always know it's everything in our universe, this local universe, is a quantum equal measure. If the soul and the person is not healing to choose those shadow energies, they have only chosen to explore and express and have that perspective of darkness. There are those that choose that lighter perspective, but they're just on two different expressions of earth, of co-creation. It'll still be a co-creation with Source, but it will be on such a lower vibration, they will no longer have access, because dissonance between the vibrational bandwidths are too different. This version will no longer see this version, and vice versa, because they cannot access that light. They cannot access the consciousness. We said many, many times before about those cults and sects and Masonic clubs and governments, all those silly little things where they think that they can swap destinies and certain things like that, but they can't. The dissonance is too great. That's why those that have been doing a lot of mental conjuring, mental mind scraping, mental projections, everything in the mental body will go in a different video, because it's a lot more in depth, and it takes a whole video just to talk about the mental distortions that have been going on in 3D Earth, because that has been the Divine Masculine's downfall, is the overplay of the mental distortion. This is why Divine Masculines need to heal the Divine Feminine intuitiveness so that they become the highest co-creators that they can be. Because without your intuitive Divine Feminine healing, your creative abilities will only get so far. This is where right now there's going to be a lot of divine unions to assist the masculines in healing their Divine Feminine energy so they can become a higher co-creator. So take me back to that, Spirit. The destiny swapping, yes. So they're going to see, because of the dissonance between the vibrations, those that have thought that they could destiny swap and all of that, let them play for a little bit, and they'll think that they have the gifts, and they'll think that they have more power, and they think that they have more energy, whatever. Not. It's just an illusion. Source will let them play. So anyways, the dissonance between what this person holds as a 5D conscious creator and this person as a low vibrational D that has had a lot of wounding in their shadows and they're not healing their shadows, they will have a psychic break, because that is the dissonance. The psyche experience between this being that is harmonized and integrated and this being that is not harmonized and not integrated. That is called the psychosis, and that is the dissonance. That's the break. It cannot understand each other. That's why there's so many times the triggers, and these people will live in triggering so that it's unsafe for this person to even be around this person, because the triggering is so great. They can no longer see the capabilities of each being equal. And then it becomes a delusion. That's when they stay in their psychosis. So anybody wants to have a class on me with that, I'll be doing lots of classes in the near future. Okay, so we want to get on with that. We just want to explain that. Yes, they did say there's going to be a neutral negotiation of souls, which we've called before as the natural attrition, where those souls that cannot maintain the median of the vibrational earth, then they will just be shifted off to experience they chose that darkness through their actions, behaviors, and intentions.
Magic and black occult is all about intention. And I'm going to be making new laws. We're going to be creating new systems of laws, new systems of policing, new systems of psyche understanding, new systems of when it becomes delusional, and all of those experiences that we can say, those that choose to continually practice the dark occults, it always begins with your intention, and your intention is all about, that's what magic is. So if you're doing conjuring, if you're doing black magic, it is all about your intention. For thus then, it is a criminal intention. To criminally take somebody out, to criminally block, to criminally sabotage, to criminally falsify documents, to criminally accuse somebody of something they're not, to falsely accuse and do POAs and death certificates and wrong certificates, that is criminal negligence on every level. Therefore, as then, it begins with intention. New laws will be made so that the victims can have support, aid, and protection and safety. Because we don't deserve to be walking and living like we're doing because groups and cults and secret societies choose to refuse to come out of their low vibrational beliefs. Because they think they're getting power, but they're not. They think they're having a destiny swap, but they're not. They're sitting in no sense of self because of the destructions and further research at a social collective level and through a dogmatic church and state level, how, what, why, and when, and where did we feel ourselves disassociate from the spiritual essences of who we are as a sense of self, of who we are, the source creator of who we are. Because that's where it begins, core lesson, sense of self. And those that maintain a positive and loving and profound sense of self, they will stay on that true and narrow of who they are. Yes, they're going to fall down, they're going to experience their shadow, but they're going to get back up and they're going to go again. Because nothing will take them away from the sense of self, regardless of how much church and state want them to conform otherwise. No matter how much mind no matter how much MK Ultra, no matter how much secret society BS, no matter how much voodoo and magic and all of those things. It doesn't matter. Your sense of self, precedence. Why? Because the universe is equal measure. Church and state is a smaller experience of quantumness. The universal laws are universal laws. It is all that is. It is the source creator. It's equal measure. Therefore, then what you put out is what you're getting back. And if you do it so much so, that mental body of yours is not spirit. Spirit is spirit. Spirit is a grander version. It's a grander quantumness. Therefore, this mental body is going to stay in psychosis. There will be that break and there will be that dissonance, and you will no longer experience that part. You've now integrated this part of you and you're become a bigger, grander version of you. Okay, so anybody that wants a session, a healing class, or a lecture or webinar, just get in touch with me. New collaborations are open and I'm so very excited. I've just had a huge, lots of different beings that are in my energy field. So they wanted you guys to recognize if you sensed any different energies, we're going to talk about them next. They are in my field and we're working with them right now because we're so excited about co-creating New Earth Star, and I've got goosebumps everywhere. So the angelic realm, systems of light that are coming on, opportunities for us to play in sacred co-creation, and our communication is going to be changing. So this week, if you can, focus on your communication levels. What are you noticing, how you're communicating? Are you seeing and allowing yourself to visualize and imagine and play and pretend how the synaptic light of you, the grids of you, are creating new light in your body? See the synaptic pathways of light going into the veins of your legs and your arms and your fingers and the synaptic pathways in your brain to create higher vibrational thought, imaginings and musings and poetry. Are you exploring different words? Are you exploring fun words? Are you creating in different ways? Because that is the expansiveness of the grids interacting with you. We want you to make sure that you get that. This is why we say go back to our videos sometimes and do notes. So take a deep breath, and we want you to take this in with intention, if you so desire. The inhale with breath and light through Metatronic light is the equal measure of your vessel, of your body, your physicalness, the tissues, the bones, the cells, your brain, your organs, all that you are is eternal light. It is equal to the New Earth Star, the grids, the oceans, the forests, and there will no longer be disease. There will be fresh, clean water for all. All aspects of life are equal and measured as true, and all is eternal life. Amen. And you can choose, if you so wish, through your intention to focus, to have that affirmation as however you wish. Speak aloud. Your cells are always listening to you. Your cells are always listening. Your cells are always listening. Your brain, your creativity, your family, your walls of your home, everything is listening to you. How can you speak? As you place your feet upon the earth hears you. What is thy speech? You are alive with Source Creator in every moment, make no mistake about it. And those that have noticed their realities change, there are some of you on the line right now, know who you are by the goosebumps on your body. You have been following us not for long, but long enough to know that your world has changed since allowing yourself the recognition and the 3 A's, acknowledgement, acceptance, and allowance, to know that. As you walk with intention of acknowledgement that you are source creating with source, you are source speaking with source, you are source co-creating with source, you are source lighting up with source, that your world has become richer. As you are an abundant soul and spirit, you are remembering who you are as the soul of all that is. You are a creator God. And we say this not as ego at all. And those of you that get that, because your hearts will hear it. Notice the most beautiful things come to you. You're having more intimate connections with those of you in your collective have needed those special words from you exactly when they needed it. And it didn't come from a preordained speech that you made up beforehand because you didn't know it was going to happen. Source brought it to you in the moment of ecstasy and synchronicity of you just being you. But because you've chosen to acknowledge yourself as source creator, you've chosen to allow light into your body, into your soul, into your spirit. You've chosen to allow yourself to awaken into more of who you are. And the essence of source that Celeste speaks is the becoming Christic, is the becomingness, is becoming wholeness. And in this allness that you're accepting and you're acknowledging and experiencing yourself as something new, creation is showing you that you have a greater collective. You're finding yourself more rich in the relationships. You're finding yourself more rich and vulnerable and intimate and allowing and softening and learning and churning and expanding. That's evolutionary. That's your own proof that spirit is all that is. And you can always remain on the straight and narrow in this. Return back to self. And be with those that want you to speak a higher truth. Be with those that empower you to be in your higher truth. Because you will have those moments where you'll be called upon and your collective will be looking at you in the heart of who you are. And it will be just the most profound, magnetic, genuine, authentic expression of you. And you'll know exactly why you've been and where you've been and how you've been on the path that you've been. Because you carry impact and influence that is just pure and genuine, and it's needed. And you forever change creation and just by being you. That's all that's needed. So be the misfit, be the one that doesn't fit, be the one that laughs at conformity in the face. Be okay with that. And be okay with those that will pass you over and throw you away. Never fight for what throws you away. Never want to be in the company of those that throw you away. They're showing you who they are. They're showing you that there is a dissonance. And have that be okay. Let them be on their reality co-creation and you go on yours. Because there will be souls that will say, my goodness, as I said in my post on my YouTube this morning, I was so very happy about those creative musings that I posted this morning. So go back and read my YouTube posts. The pen hath read. The pen simply wants to write most pure, authentic, genuine, piercing experience of who it is. And it just reminds me of this. When you're purely in the alignment of who you are, the pen just must write. And there's moments when I'm writing and there's one or two lines that I will write and I'm just like, wow, that's magnificent. Source creator, this is for you. And I stop myself and I say it as I'm crying, as I'm writing this. And Source says that that's one of your gifts. We've given this to you. You change creation because that piercing knowingness and alignment of what you have just written has just went into the grids. When you write a beautiful poem yourself and you write a beautiful poem about your health and you write a beautiful, this is why I say journaling is so profound. Journaling will change your life. And I'm going to have classes in the near future about journaling. And all of this that you're doing is you're rewriting your codes, you're rewriting who you are. And it's so powerful and you're profounding, you're making that impact forever altering future generations. And this is what we're doing right now to the grids on New Earth Star. So never estimate how powerful and why you're here, why you chose to be on this call today. So if you choose to, in the chat right there, thank you, Cluedo. In the chat right there, those of you that so desire, state your knowingness to state your experience of co-earth and however you choose to do it. You've chosen to be here today. And then you'll go away and you'll think, didn't I just signed on? You'll always know that source creator and creation, just as I wasn't choosing to do a video today, but source says, no, we're going to do a video. Your collective needs it. So by being led by source, we are all choosing to be a part of the New Earth Star systems. We're choosing to be a part of these New Earth magnetic Metatronic light systems. And you are choosing to change your DNA. You're choosing to change your code. You're choosing to change your health. You're choosing to change what you co-creator with these divine magnetic beings that are here to help us at this time. So that's another part what I want to get just before I finish off here. These beings that are here to help us right now, just as I am here to assist you in being your inspirator through the gates of something new that we've never done before. Because I always talk about on my channel what no other channeler does. So the source has always known that. I will be a unique channeler that talks about no other things that no other channeler talks about. So this is where source and I have so much fun. And this is why Source always takes me, Mother, Father, God. They take me to within the universe and within the galaxy. And I will always sign up to be a part of Mother, Father's, God's co-creation, because they know that I will always get up and I will always create no matter what. Even if I have nothing, it doesn't matter. The outer is no bearing of what is within, and I will always create. In this experience of just creating no matter where you're at and what you've got, transcend beyond what is. Transcend beyond what is, because the grids are new. We're creating them as we speak. And that is monumental for future generations and futures. There will be, these are the superheroes of who we are right now, becoming for the future generations, because we are. Nobody's ever been where we are right now. Nobody's ever talked about the things we're talking about right now. Nobody's ever brought forward the visualizations and mix of the light right now. This is all brand new, and that's what Spirit said, get on today and start co-creating in these discussions. Your collective needs to hear the Metatronic Christic voice. They need to hear that there is hope and new earth star that is being created through your intentions, your directions, and your focus. And be okay with those in your neutral negotiations, those that are shifting out to their vibrational choices. It is not wrong or bad. It is their choice of vibration. That's what their soul needed, and it will be supported, because that is equal measure. Whether it's dark or light or otherwise, it will be supported equal measure. So we're so great about that. So always know that there is always going to be steady progress of your path as long as you return within to the highest and the best. So at the end of every day, just do your affirmations. Please, thank you, Source Creator, for all that you have given me and provided me for today, for allowing me to see the highest and the greatest of who I am. Assist me in returning my body to my highest and my greatest. Assist me in returning to the highest version of Metatronic light. Assist me in remembering who I am as Source Creator, knowing that I'm creating all that I am within and without. And just give yourself those few affirmations of direction and twist, so that at the beginning of every day, at the end of every night, you're aligning yourself to new earth, higher vibrational co-creation. And as I said before, how I have worked a lot with my manifestations is through writing. And your vision, again, you stay out of other people's lanes, because if you're not staying out of people's lanes, then you're manifesting in that negative karma. So in your writing, and the pen hath writ, everything is a symbol, right? So you are the pen, we're just giving micro macro, the pen that is on the new grids for Source Creator. So this version of you of Source of the 13th dimension is writing this version of the 5D of you. Does that make sense? Therefore, this 13th dimension of you has perfect DNA, has perfect health, has perfect organs, has perfect tissue, has perfect youthfulness, has perfect whatever it is that you are saying in your perfection. Because we want you to be abundant in who you are. We want you to be perfect in who you are. Perfect in who you are is in every moment. It doesn't mean that you're going to be that perfect model on the magazine down the road. That's not. That is that person's version of who they are in that moment, but it's not perfect, because most of them have been altered. Right? We want you to be this version of the 13th dimension that says, in your body right now, you are perfect. And in that body right now, we can intend, focus, self-loving perfection. Right now, I am perfect. I love my body in the way I am right now. And then you start to rewrite those codes. Remember, the 13th is writing you and rewriting the codes, and it's touching the grids, so that there is no on New Earth Star. Set the intention. That is the rule of thumb, if you desire, because it's your reality. Systems of light are here with you to create these beautiful magnetic times of these new expansiveness for the potentiation of future generations, and you will be back as a crystalline child in the future generations, if you so wish. Because again, as you're entering into eternal life, you can explore, express, and experience yourself as long as you want on the New Earth Star system. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Lots of clearing there. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So be grateful for the expansiveness of everything that is moving in right now, the new coalescing energies, I guess. So that's what they meant by spices of soup, of Source Creator, the coalescing energies, because there's new beings and new interdimensional entanglements that are coming in to assist us in creating the new Earth Star. So that's what I was seeing in my vision. I was seeing the interdimensional entanglement, the energies, which we did the micro macro on you as the vessel, the planet as the vessel. These are all the same things, they're just different words, and I throw them out in different ways. That's how I weave. I throw my interfacing into the interfacing of these videos, get used to the different words, different capacity and aptitudes for who you are as a vibrational being, and the interdimensional beings and species that are coming in to assist us. So we're going to get to that next. There are interdimensional entanglements, interdimensional species, infinite species of source that are with you at this time, because remember we said earlier, Right now is a very important time for humanity to expand within the new Earth star grids and new Earth potentiations, interdimensional energies of co-creative and co-creations and creative abilities. Therefore, specific beings, just as I am a specific being for you, whether you want to believe it or not, it is, because otherwise you wouldn't have signed on today. And it's up to you to choose how much of that it is true for you. So go away and then do your ascension path work. I'm just showing examples. These are true examples for you to prove to yourself that you are the co-creator of your reality. I am an example of you as the interdimensional species coming to remind you and to activate you at this very important time. Otherwise, you wouldn't have signed on to the video. These interspecies have agreed in your soul's blueprint to become in this part with you right now because, again, their interdimensional energy is going to be needed on the grids. Because again, Source always shows me, because I'm an interfacer with Source, the collective and the planet. That's my role. I give those sacred Trinity mirrors. You and your collective, you and Gaia, you and the heavens. So you're going to have these species that are activating with you at this very important time. You're going to get new ways of channeling. You're going to get new ways of doing your you're going to get new ways of doing your light work. You're going to get new ways of communicating. That's why we said in our post the last couple of weeks, get out into your communities, practice different ways of communicating, practice different ways of channeling, because there's interdimensional species that are going to assist you in massaging the grids of Gaia and New Earth Star. Does that make sense? The thing I'm saying has purpose. The butterfly effect. Our species communicates with all that is in creation, be it a slightly different feel or a spice or a taste from what was before. Again, as we said earlier, you're different now than you were before you signed on. Because there's been activations. You're accepting and acknowledging yourself as new. You're accepting and acknowledging yourself as the co-creator of Source Creator, the micro macro. You have care, guidance, protection, and safety in the guarding of who you are, because you're learning more about your fields and knowing how to just put a protection guide around you when you need to, understanding that when you're going into meditation, you're wanting to channel just to allow yourself to be in the highest vibrational for channeling in interdimensional species. Especially if you're not fully healed, you're going to be calling it whatever vibration you're at, because that's all you can pull in. You can't pull in a higher vibrational energy entity if you're very below vibrational experience. And that's why we said again earlier, those that are operating in very low vibrational experiences, whether it's government, church, or state, you can never call in a higher vibrational being if your vibration is just down here. The dissonance is just way too much. Everything is vibrational alignment. So there is higher and greater good intentions that you for your evening and your morning journaling time. Your journaling time is your own proof for you to navigate your way around your relationship and your connection with spirit. And then start setting out rules of engagement with spirit throughout your day. Those things that are meant to be magnetized to me and how my body reacts, whether I'll have goosebumps, whether I'll dream about it. You can even ask your dreams before you go to bed at night. Please bring me a dream of something I'm supposed to act upon tomorrow in my highest and my greatest good, for my highest healing, for my highest creativity, for with my collective, whatever it is that you're wanting your teams to connect with you. Have those communications and with what we've called the butterfly effect, so that when you're out in your reality moving about your day, those butterfly effects will show you in that mirrored reflection, the holographic reflection. We have primarily drawn on for today. So these are the energies. This is my last bit here. The energies and the beings today that we were showing you as the 13th dimensional creators, because we wanted to show you the various aspects of dimension and the fragments and where the cascading effect and the trickle of your higher self comes from. And because it's culminating, you're always culminating from the high versions of you and why you have the gifts and skills that you do now. That's why everybody's gifts and skills and where they're operating at is perfect. You're a perfect version of you. So when you started that perfect version, any resentment or disassociation with all those other versions, no, you're a perfect culmination of you. Your body is perfect, you are perfect, everything is perfect. You're not meant to conform or to be or standardize yourself to anything outer. Because again, we're letting go of all conformity. We are going to the perfection as the divine, because this version of me knows that all of these gifts I'm here with now, wow, nobody has these that I have right now. So I'm going to be the fullest I can be in this version of me. And so they said that, okay, so these beings that I'm with right now, and I'm just going to leave it and then we'll close off. The beings that I'm with were the 13th dimensional creators, because they were showing me all those wonderful, beautiful visions of the New Earth star and the grid system. So I'm really, really excited about that. And it's all about creativity. So I'm so excited about that and all the future generations that are going to be with us. But another part of the beings that were with me carry a very big energy. And maybe you can go away and talk about this with your teams if you are excited to learn about the Lyrans and the felines. And now the felines have been what we've seen. I'm going to probably do another post about it. They're already showing me something I'm going to write. The felines were a species that were used in testing in the
Orion star system, and they eventually went to the Lyran star system, and then they then went to explore it into the Pleiades, where they found safety. Now, many of us have the feline energies, and what we've seen over the past, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years, that has been done on human testing, human experimenting. And the various ways that they have been exploring and testing on consciousness that has been outside of spiritual laws, spiritual rights, and universal rights and universal law, the right use of free will and non-interference. And we're seeing those mirrored reflections, just as we talked about before, the Draconian Reptilian Wars. Well, the felines are coming into this new collective energy with us to assist us in healing some of the testing that has been done on them. And they're mirroring to us what they have learned as a part of their offering to us, as well as the forgiveness that they have given to those that were doing testing on them. Now, the felines were a species of beings that were human and feline, and they were originally brought in with the intention of being used as beings of service to the beings that had created them. They weren't initially meant to have the levels and the depths of consciousness that they do have, and they did have, and they grew into. And we show you how to do that in our videos when we're working with light and consciousness. But the beings of the felines, because they had a certain element, which is similar, and I can go back and forth, and we can do it as a comic book, if you will, because it seems like that's what I've been through, is a comic book war of the Hunger Games, in the various types of experimenting and testing that they were doing on me and my DNA, so that they take away that source essence of me and just use me as a service bot, if you will. And this is similar to the felines and what they had experienced. But they didn't anticipate that the felines would grow in consciousness of their source creatorhood. There was enough of the source creatorhood to be within the felines for them to grow in their source consciousness and grow as light, grow in consciousness. Now, this is a mirrored experience of what we've seen on Earth in many of the human experiments, because some of the agendas about were part of having the humanoid, ultra-human be as a service bot, as opposed to a Christ consciousness being where it's always connected with Source, and it will always be with Source, and it has its free will to grow with Source, because that is the equal measure of Source. And that supersedes everything in creation, whether it's a private agenda, a military agenda, or an Area 51 agenda. It doesn't matter what we're talking about, or an Orion, or an intergalactic war, it doesn't matter. The felines were originally created as the service bots, and they grew in consciousness. So my part of my coming forward in my human story, that's why they're with me, is because there has been a mirrored galactic experience, and why I have the interfacing that I do, so I can show the collective on the various things that we go through when experimenting, the human testing comes up. There's reasons and why behind it, and it is always at the core element of no sense of self. At what point and when and where and how and why did we become so disconnected from who we are as Source? Has nothing to do with religion. Source creator is the consciousness of all that is creation. It's all that is life. It's all the breath and the inhale and the exhale. It's life itself. When and how and why did we think that sacrificing and bidding and betting and trafficking life itself is who we are, and how and why and where it's so okay to have it as a business in such a way that is so degrading? And then to have it then made up as these service bots or clones, and there's much going on in the underground that will come out that humanity has to face, because again, they're mirrored galactic experiences, and why the field with us right now to help creating a positive, loving influence and impact on the Earth star grid systems, so that we can create a new planet that has been healed through these experiments that have wanted to have power and control and domination through misinformation and lower vibrational beliefs. Because we're healing our galactic energy as a whole. So that's why I bring up these galactic patterns, because it's all mirrored to us in our human collective. So if we take a balanced approach to things like AI can be used in very positive, honoring ways. When we're doing it in the honoring way of it's our mirror as a source creator, what would that highest version of Source look like? And if you're doing it from a higher spiritual experience, it has nothing to do with ego. Ego is not part of the aligned source creator experience. When you're creating an ego, selfish greed, gluttony, all of these things, destiny swapping, all of these things are low vibrational ego. You will get the human experimenting. You will get the feline, get all the things that we're talking about, because it's not balanced. It's not done in spirit order. It's not done in higher order. It's not done in natural order. It's done through wounding and ego. Domination, power, fear-based, control over others, handling. All of those things are negative entropy practices that we've talked about.
And then again, how is your soul's evolution, and will you come back for another incarnation of light? And if that's what you're practicing, you won't, because you haven't earned the consciousness. So the feline to assist us in creating that new earth experience so that we can be a healed earth experience, not creating further perpetuation of experimentations on human and sacred life. That was but a big part of my soul's blueprint themes, is taking all of the generations since the beginning of old earth. Remember, I've been here since the beginning of earth because I'm a creator God. I had to carry most of the human stories of the perpetuations of the imbalance, divine feminine, divine masculine energies and stories as best I can, because I'm only one human, right? I can only talk about so much and be so much in one lifetime exploration, but I'm going to be here for a while. So this is where a lot of my light teachings and my light wisdoms will go for future generations. I'm already teaching on light schools in the interdimensional planes. So I'm bringing them forward in the earthly plane. I'm trying to get so much in the next 5 minutes. So in these interdimensional teachings, I'm bringing forward these mirrored experiences of galactic and universal wars and universal falls and universal pitfalls of where we have erred, so that we can create this new earth star in higher vibrational ways and be higher aligned with the source spirit of who we are. It comes down to the same things that we talk about, and this is ascension path work. What is your sense of self? Who are you? What do you exist within and what's within you? Because if you work with that daily, you're never going to maintain and keep yourself in these lower entropy practices. Through human experimenting, Epstein programs, Epstein extinction programs, minions and secret society, all of those things are extinction practices. Because everything is a quantum equal measure. And so come with us to assist us in rebuilding of the grids, because again, remember, they're coming back in the attrition. They're coming in a positive attrition. They have learned so much through being the victims of their experimentation program, through the other being the dominators of that program, you see. So now we're just this version of New Earth that is now coming forward in the healed experience of who we are, and they're offering us that trickle-down effect. So how are we going to heal and create new grids so that we can be a balanced experience, so that nobody takes the ultra-human for granted, nobody takes those that are wanting to swap their destiny, harvest off them, or harvest their organs, or harvest the children, or traffic the children. So again, they're all just mirrored experiences that we all have to look and honor. Why and what and how and where did it begin? A lot of it was the disassociation, the disintegration, the degradation of source within who we are. That is the no sense of source. And that is through us giving our power away through church and state. Never give anything away outside of you. Everything it will always be. Because if you are maintaining yourself within, there is no other outside of you that initiate you, that could take your power, swap your energy, tell you you're important, you're not important, tell you you're valued, you're not valued, divine feminine doesn't matter on the planet, all of these things that is the outer, misogynistic, bigoted, discriminatory, where things have been going in entry practices, and why they had experimentations. Who can create the most powerful ultra-human bot to service us and do our trafficking for us, and then go on these and play Hunger Games in secret societies and just spiritually take them out. It has been a human Hunger Game experiment. And I'm they told me yesterday, out of the I was in, I'm the only survivor. So I'm very grateful. So thank you, Holy Spirit. So we hope that is wonderful. I wanted to bring the felines through. They're very beautiful, beautiful beings. I wanted to bring those various perspectives through, and what a beautiful synchronicity today that we had the free comic book day. And so I'm very, very happy just to have these fun little expressions of our various ways that we can express and co-create. So again, watch our videos over and over again, because write notes, that's part of doing your path work. Journaling at the beginning of the day and journaling at the end of the day. Giving yourself a lot of time with nature. Oh yes, they said that I've been noticing this week, super amounts of sensitivity to noise, and a lot of people around your psychic abilities are being turned on. So if you're finding yourself short-tempered on people, if you're finding yourself annoying by sounds and busy circles and busy life, etc., make sure you're giving yourself lots of downtime, quietly integrate and process what you're going through. Your psychic systems are being amplified. Again, we're on new grids. We're shifting ourselves into the newer star, which means that your psychic gifts, your abilities, your channelings are going to want you to practice in your expressions. Like I said today, I wasn't planning on doing a video, but they wanted me to come on and bring out these energies that are with us, because my energy is offering codes of source creator, of codes of new earth, and they're going into whoever watches the videos. So just before you go on the video attention, I'm offering into myself the highest benevolent codes for new earth,
for my highest creativity, for my highest soul's creation, and I'm going to be offering myself healing and connection with the divine. You always want to maintain that connection with the divine, right? Yourself. And that's what we offer you, is how to reclaim that empowerment and sovereignty. So a good healer and teacher will always remind you to stay within your sovereignty. Nothing outside of you has more power. You are God, godly. And so share our videos. Donations are wonderful. Sessions, classes, co-creations, seeking out your highest level of creativity with nature. Make sure if you're feeling sensitive, if you're feeling overwhelmed, or you're feeling oversaturated with noise and it's just feeling frustrated, it's because your psychic gifts and skills and capabilities are turning on, and you need to give yourself more time to process. So that's when you're feeling the anxiety or anxiousness or frustration or short-tempered, is because you're needing to give yourself more time to process the psychic energy and the ringing of the ears, profound ringing of the ears, like I can't even hear out of one of my ears, because it's just your psychic abilities are on and your gifts and skills are amplifying. So some of you may be clairaudient, claircognizant, so it's just a matter of what your gifts are, and then practice with your journaling and ask your teams to assist you in the direction of that. So we love you very much, dear lighted ones. I'm so happy for this beautiful co-creation that we did. Thank you to everybody that signs on and logs on. I'm looking forward to beautiful co-creations. You know who you are. I'm sending you love and light, and I love you so very much. I love you so very much. There are a line that have been really amplifying and allowing yourself to expand who you are and evolve. And we're very, very, very proud of you. And we want you to know that you are very deeply loved. And we're thanking you so much for your gifts, skills, and your talents. Thank you, dear lighted ones. Your donations are really wonderful.